Duck is giving a big "you can't fire me, I quit" energy in his exit interview. Joe Biden sitting down with a USA Today reporter for about an hour and claiming once again that he could have defeated Donald Trump. But Joe admits that he might not have lasted another term if he'd been reelected. When asked if he thought he would have had the vigor to serve another 4 years in office, the president bluntly responded, quote, "I don't know. But let's go right now to Donald Trump, who's on Capitol Hill."
And we're going to make America great again, and we'll see you in a little while.
And that was Donald Trump on Capitol Hill. Joe Biden also goes on to claim that he warned Donald Trump to not settle scores. We don't know what Trump said after that, but he also said Trump even praised the Biden economy. Do you believe that Trump praised the Biden economy? You know, Joe Bidenomics, they did a hell of a job with that.
He might have said something like, the unemployment rate is low.
Okay.
You know, right? Just because I do think that President Trump loves manners. He likes people to be polite.
Yeah.
He wants to pay a compliment. So he's probably looking for something. What can I say? Is there something that I can say here? I do think the lame duck portion of this presidency has been very strange. I believe that his people have kept him from doing more interviews because I believe he has declined even more in the last couple of months, even then since you saw it, certainly from the debate till now. He is very defiant in saying that he could have won. And this goes again to something that Chuck Schumer, he does the interviews on Sunday, and he says, Joe Biden made the right decision for himself and for the party. No, Joe Biden doesn't believe that. Joe Biden believes that he could have won. He believes that it was wrong that he was pushed out. But I mentioned Pod Save America. Let me just mention them one more time.
Why?
They said that Biden's own internal polling had him losing 400 electoral votes.
Ooh.
Okay, so this revisionist history that they're trying, I don't think it's going to work. And I'm not sure all the things that President Trump and his team will find when they get there.
Greg, can you believe he said, I would have won? I don't know if I would have lasted 4 years, but
right.
How
but
selfish.
I'll take your money.
Yeah.
He puts the lame in lame duck, and to make it more accurate, replace the D with an F. He's an ungrateful old coot who should never have been president. Period. We said he was incapable. Everything he got was a gift. It was a variable that was put in place for different reasons. He shouldn't even have been VP for Obama. It was just because the Democrats were so racist. They had to put an old white guy with a young black man because they were scared he'd be turned away. I don't care about Joe. Let him ramble off wherever he goes. I'm still waiting on the great journalists assuming responsibility for uncovering the greatest cover-up, political cover-up of our time, Joe Biden's mental state. That needs to be addressed. Journalists complain, they shriek, they cry about how they're not being taken seriously anymore, how they're being called lazy, how they're being called lying elitists, which is accurate. Well, now here's your chance. Here's your chance, buddy. Here's your Watergate. Here's your Iran-Contra. Here's your
Obamagate.
Obamagate.
Oh, my favorite gate.
Yes.
One that we will still uncover.
And this one, unlike Russiagate, is real.
Do you think that there will be journalists digging into this cover-up once Trump gets in there?
Maybe, but they're not going to win Pulitzers for it, sadly.
Yeah.
But they absolutely should, and they should challenge every presidency equally, not just the ones that they think are literally a threat to democracy. And I do believe that President Trump said, I love the Biden economy because that's what got him elected because it was so horrible.
Right.
Yeah,
Harold, usually you go out with a press conference. He's going out with a sit-down with a USA Today print reporter.
As I tried to say yesterday and the day before, I'm done with this. I think President Biden, I wish him nothing but the best.
That's about
I think
as
4 years.
strong of a statement that Harold Ford would deliver.
4 years. I think 10 years from now, we will look at his presidency differently than we do today. I think it will be more favorable. I think he has every right to sit down with whomever he wants to sit down with. I do hope if he did share with President Trump to look forward and to not look backwards. I hope he shared that, and I hope President Trump heeds that advice. But I'm ready to move on. I think as we think about ways to not only Democrats counter President Trump and prepare for the future, looking back is not the way to do that.
All right, you're ready to move on, and so are we, Harold. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.